So, hello and welcome once again to our data analytics. This is class 5. We are learning Tableau, and in this class, we will learn about using variables on same axis and different axes while creating graphs or while plotting graphs. Like how this thing will help us and how to do it properly. What type of problems we will face if we will not use them properly. So although we have discussed about the concept in previous classes, but in this class we will understand the concept of same axis and different axis and same variable and different variable. So we are using the sample superstore data set that we have been using in our previous classes also, and in this data set, uh, as you can see, the main two important measures are sales and profit, and some important other dimensions are obviously order date, ship date, and state and all. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll create a line graph, and as you know, in order to create a line graph, we have to drag one particular dimension of time. So order date is a date related value, and what we'll do simply is change this to continuous. Okay, so you can change the order date to discrete, change between discrete and continuous. You can also change from here, like you can also select day from here. So if you select day, you can also select month. So we'll select month for now. This is month, and you can see the color is green. So from 2014 to 2018, there will be, let's say, 48 months, right? These are 4 years, and every year will have 12 months. So these lines that you are seeing are all months of 2014, as you can see: January, February, this and that. And if we select this month, you will only see 12 values, because this is a summarized version, a dimension, and this is a measure. So in measure, you will see that data is continuous, right? Now if we create sales, if we drag sales here, so you will see a graph like this. Okay, so what is this graph representing? Starting from January 2014 and ending on December 2017, how the sales performed, over the years. So first of all, is this clear to you? How to plot? Why is line graph a
Yes.
better choice? Because it's a, you want to show some kind of continuation, right? That it was this, then drop, then increase and all. You can also create area chart here very easily. So you can plot this or this area chart, okay? Whatever you prefer. But let's go back to line graph. Now suppose someone says, okay, this is sales. Okay, I also want to analyze profit, because our actual performance will only be analyzed when we compare profit with sales, right? Like sales can be, yes, sales can be good, but unless and until we analyze profit for every sales that we have, so we cannot actually, come to a conclusion whether this is good or not, right? So
Yes.
now the question is, how can you analyze profit in the same graph? How can you do that? So now there are certain places. Obviously, profit is another variable here. Okay, sales is one variable, profit is another variable. So all you can do is, when you will drag this variable, you can drag it to rows, you can drag it to column. Suppose you drag it to column, you will see a weird graph. So you will not want to do that. What you can do is you can drag to rows. You will say, okay, we have sales here, we will put profit here, and now we have this data. So it all, profit kind of looks correlated, right? Like, yeah, you can see that when sales is increasing, profit is also increasing. But here you can see some places where profit is below the zero line. Okay, and when profit is below the zero line or negative, that means it's a loss. So in these years, obviously sales also dropped and we also got loss. Okay, because there may be some operating cost, and this profit would have been calculated on the basis of various factors. But in the data we have got sales and profit, so you can see it's loss. Now when you compare these two graphs, you know, they almost look like very similar. Even the height also looks very similar. Okay, it is because sales and profit both have the same scale, like they both have the same unit. They are both in dollars, right? So the unit with which you are measuring this quantity or measuring this measure is dollars. Okay, but if you will see closely, for sales the scale starts from 0k to 100k. Okay, but for profit it starts from 0k and ends at 15k. So can you see the difference between the scale of these two numbers, right? Like say it means when
Yes.
sale is between 0 to 100k, then profit is between 0 to 15k. We can say
Hmm.
approximately 10 to 15% of profit, right? 10 to 15% of sales amount is profit actually, right? But is it clear from this graph? This graph gives an indication like, yeah, both of them are kind of equal, right? So we are getting another sheet here, and here we'll do the same thing. We'll drag order date here, change it to month, the measures, and we'll drag sales here. Okay, now when you have to drag profit here, there is one more place. Actually there are several other places where you can drag profit, and one of them is in the same axis. Can you see? So this here
Yes.
represents the axis of sales. Okay, and when you are comparing two variables, which have same unit, so you can compare them on same axis. Okay, when you will put it here, you will see a graph like this. Now what is difference between this graph and this graph? Although both are correct, but this graph is giving us a comparison also, right? That on the same scale, what is the scale of profit versus sales. For example, here you can see sales is at its peak, but profit is not at its peak, right? Here sales is at, let's say this is the second peak that we get, right? So here, yes, profit is at its peak. Okay, so then by comparing all of these things together, then we can analyze the graph, and here it will automatically create this legend for us that blue color represents profit and orange color represents sales. So because sales and profit both are increasing with respect to time. Time is independent, that's why we have put it on x-axis, and on y-axis we have done this. You can add other details to this graph. Other details like, suppose you want to show profit in label, you can do this, right? But it will make the graph very not so user friendly, but you can do this. If you want to remove, you can just remove this. Okay, and
Mhm.
this is one, right? So when we are analyzing sum of profit, this is a better graph. Now we'll again create the same thing. Okay, order date and all, but this time what we'll do month. So this is every month that we have. Now this is a summary version, right? What do you mean by summary? Like,
Yes.
because here we only have 12 values, in total we have 48 values, but here we have 12 values. That's why a group by will be used, right? So we'll group by
Yes.
data, and then we will drag sales. So instead of sum of sales, we can do average sale. Like what is the average sales in the month of January? What is the average? You can see, right? Average sales is almost like this. So this is something that you can do. And similarly, you can also, when you are dragging profit, so it is average sales against sum of profit. So you should change it to average profit, right? So when you are comparing average sale, compare it with average profit, where you will understand, right? So this is the graph that we have. Now, this is the graph when we are developing or when we are creating graph, right? Suppose you have to present the graph, you have to present the same data. So here you can see one presentation icon, okay? So you can click on it and then you can present the data. So it will make your graphs in full screen and then you can analyze the data on full screen. And if you have to go back, you have to press escape button, escape, okay? So escape, or we can also use F7, okay? F7 you can see here. So F7 to make it presentation mode or non-presentation mode, okay? So this is something that you can do. So this is one case. Now I will create another case because our discussion today will be along this thing only. Now we also have, let's again drag order date, okay, make it we'll make it month wise. Sales will drag again, okay, and all of this is being recorded, so you will also get this to revise, and this is all there in my Tableau course also. I have already provided you the Tableau course, right? So now we will drag profit here, you can see. So this is one thing, right? We can also drag
Yes.
profit here. This is also one axis, okay? So this is one axis, this is also one axis. So what this will do is, again it will create the same graph, okay, but here the scale is 0 to this, here the scale is 0 to 50. So what we can do is, let's profit out, let's drag profit out of this. We can drag quantity, okay, let's drag quantity. So what is this doing? Here you can see sum of quantity 0 to 1800, okay, like in this particular month and in this particular year, quantity 284, sales 14,230, right? Because these are not of same scale, like these are not of same unit. Quantity is in what? Quantity is just a count, right? That how much quantity of those products were ordered, and sales is in other unit, right? Sales is in dollars. So that's why you can use these two axes to compare two measures on the same graph but using two different axes, right? If you see this axis, then you can see quantity. If you see this here, and if you want to analyze only one, you can just click on it. You can change also its color or whatever you want to analyze, okay, and you can click on one of them to make it highlighted. So you can go click on one of them, right, and make it highlighted, okay. So while looking at this axis you can read quantity, while looking at this axis you can read it, because these two colors are very similar to each other. You can change it to green or something so that you can analyze, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now let's copy this, okay. What I will do is, I will save this entire workbook on my Tableau public, and I will give you that link also, so that you can also see what we did in this class, okay, and you
Okay.
can replicate. So let me save that. To save the data, you have to go to file and save to Tableau public. Okay, we have already created an account on Tableau public, so we will simply sign in with ID
Yes.
and password. So after using our credentials, it is saving workbook to Tableau public, and here we can give, let's say, data, eh, let's say DA class 4 or 5 or 5, DA class 5, 5. So I will save this, and when you will save this, it will open Tableau public profile for you with this data. So here you can see, right, this graph is saved. Okay, here you can see the different sheets that we created. Okay, so this way whatever analysis you have done will be
Okay.
available for public to view. Okay, now what you can do is, you can see, you can download this also. Okay, if you will click here, you can download data, download Tableau workbook. Okay, so you can download this also to see how it is working. And if you are doing web authoring, okay, like if you are logged in your Tableau also, then you can edit also. Okay, so you can edit. So because I am logged in, so you can do all of these things. So you can start analyzing things in your browser also. Okay, so it depends upon, if I allow access, like let others download and make copy of this. Okay, if I want to show all the sheets, and if I want to show this profile on my profile. Okay, so I don't want to show, I want to show. Okay, so it's up to me. And what I can do is, if you will go to my profile, you can view it, and I can share this with you. So this is the link of this. Okay, and I will share it with you in your WhatsApp, so that later you can go there and you will get the working files also. Okay, so now we will go back to our Tableau file. So we created a copy of this, right, this sheet. Why I created a copy? Because currently both of them are line graphs. Okay, both of them are line graphs. But what I will do is, this is all. Okay, here you can see three things: all, sum, sales, sum, quantity. Because we have two variables, so you are seeing two extra marks here. Okay, all of them are line chart. In Tableau you can create a mixed kind of graph also. So what I will do is, I will select quantity and I will choose bar for it. Okay, or I can do reverse of this also. I can select sales and I will select bar. Do you get my point? So
Yes. Yes.
this
Got it.
is also giving you a comparison, right? If sales is this much, what is quantity? If sales is this much, what is quantity, right? So it is giving you some kind of comparison, and I think this is a better way to compare these two, right? So because both of them have different units. Okay, so what I will do is, I will just change their order, and I will make sales as line, quantity as bar, and sales as line. This. So this will give you a clear indication of, like for example here
Yeah.
quantity is
Hmm.
less but sales amount is more. Quantity is
Higher.
more,
Yes.
sales amount is less. So it will give you an indication that on different days people are buying products that are of different prices. Like suppose quantity is more and sales amount is less. What does that mean? This means that cheaper products were bought on this particular, or on in this
Exactly.
month
Yeah.
more cheaper products were bought rather than, you know, higher value products. But here you can see in December, in November, December, you can see some kind of pattern here also in November. So because it's a Christmas time for these people, so they also in Christmas time also you can see a peak, and then you see valleys when, as you know, festive season starts approaching. So you can see a peak in sales every year, and every year quantity and sales are very proportionally increasing, right? So is it all clear? So how to create this graph?
Yes.
Let's revise once again. Okay. So what you will do is take a date in column, change it to month or quarter. Let's do quarter this time. Okay. In
Quarter.
every,
Yeah.
yeah, in every year there are 4 quarters. So quarterly data of every year. Let's select profit. Okay.
Profit.
So profit comes on this axis. On the other axis, we will drag sales. Okay. This graph looks a bit confusing to me personally. So what I will do is I will select profit and I will change it to bar. Okay. So this is giving me an indication where
Yes.
sales is with respect to profit, where sales is more, where profit
Yes.
is
Yes.
more.
Ups and downs are more when it's peak. This one is low. That is
Yeah.
more.
So that's how we can use multiple axes. Okay. So this is our sales analysis. Now, first part of our chapter is over. We have already discussed, like, you know, using variables on same axis and different axis. Now this is part 2, using two numerical variables, or comparing two numerical variables, comparing or relating, whatever you want to say, like finding out relationship between two numerical variables. Okay. Here we use two variables with date, right? Like profit and sales with a third variable called date.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But what if we don't have a third numerical variable? We only have two numerical variables. In that case, how to plot graph and all, right? So we have a data set called tips data set. This data set I will obviously provide those students who join us on WhatsApp. I provide you directly. Those who are viewing, I will provide a link also so that you can download. And it's a very famous data set. You can get it on GitHub also. Just type tips dataset GitHub. In this dataset, a restaurant owner or let's say a waiter, you know, collected data of approximately 250 tips, 245 that he got. Okay. So when total bill was 16.99, tips was 1.01. When and the person who gave the tip was a female, whether or not the person was a smoker, what was the day, what was the time, what was the size and all. Okay.
Yeah.
So size means how many people were eating. So this is a discrete, this is a continuous, this is a continuous. Okay. These are uh, nominal variables, nominal variables, nominal variables, nominal variables. Okay. So these are all are, let's color them in blue so that we understand these are all our dimensions, and rest of them are measures. Okay. So we'll now load this data of Tableau. So this time that file is actually a CSV file. Okay, you can see tips.csv. So when
Yes,
the
yes.
file is in CSV, you will use text file. Okay, you will use the text connector. So from here we can connect the tips dataset. Let's open, and now we have
Yeah.
the file. Here we don't want to connect any other file, so just ignore it. And as discussed, you can see all our hashtags, all our measures, and these are all dimensions. You have to do a lot of exploratory data analysis. So on this dataset, we'll perform some exploratory data analysis as well. But today we are doing tips versus total bill, or let's say total bill versus tip. Because total bill is actually independent, right? Tip depends upon what total bill is, right? That's how you keep
Yes, yes,
tip,
yes.
right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So whatever you call, but what will happen is when you will drag these two variables, one in column and one is row, okay? So total bill on x-axis, tip on y-axis. It will just create one dot, no straight line, nothing. Okay. If you will try to create a line, there will be a dot. Okay. Automatic dot. Why is this happening? Why is, because let's see the data. Okay. In data, how many
Actually,
total,
both are same variable. Actually, both the keep is also in rupees and the uh,
yeah, but that
rupees.
is fine, but
Total bill is also.
that is fine, but we have 244 instances of total bill, data points of total bill, and same 244 data points of tip. When we create a graph, okay, this is something we have to understand. Solution is very simple, but first of all you have to understand what I am trying to say. Okay,
Oh,
suppose I am again giving the same example of voltage versus current, because this gives Ohm's law also, voltage current. Okay, so let's say voltage was 200, 300, 400 volts. Voltage is in volts. Okay, and current was 2, 3, and 4 amperes. Now the current is very high, but let's say it is what it is. It is 300 actually. So how will you plot these 3 points? These are 3 points, right? This is one
yes.
point, this is second point, and this is third point. How will you plot these points? What you will do is you will write 100 here, okay,
Yes.
200 here, 300, 400, something like that, right? And similarly, you will write what? 4, 3, 2, 1, something like that, right? Then how will you create a point? You take one variable from x-axis, one value from x-axis, one value from, and it's
Yeah, the intersection will be the point actually.
right.
This
Yeah,
what.
right. This is how you plot graph. Right? Very basic thing, but like when it is 200, it is 2 amperes. This is 1 point. The intersection is 1 point, right? This is 1 point. Is it or
Yes.
not? Right? So if I have three values of voltage and three values of current, respective values of current, so I will have 3 points, right? Similarly, here we have 244 values of total bill and 244 values of tip, respective. It's just voltage and current kind of situation, right? X, Y, whatever you think. Why are we not seeing 244 dots here? Do you get my point? Because Tableau by default, you know, does aggregate and makes the measures as sum, right? It converts the measures into sum of tip, sum of total bill. You can change the aggregate function here, like from sum to minimum to maximum, whatever you want to do, okay? But it will only remain 1 point because sum of total bill is actually single value. Sum of tip is a single value. So this is because by default aggregate measure is on in Tableau. Okay, I'm repeating once again. Aggregate measure is on in Tableau. Okay, and in order to turn it off, in order to visualize the data without summarization, you know, without any group by or without this summarization, what you have to do, go to analysis and turn off aggregate measures. Can you see? You can take a screenshot also, right? So you will go to analysis and then you can write it also. To turn off aggregate measures, go to analysis tab and uncheck aggregate measure. When you will uncheck, then you will see, now you can see 244 points. We are not
Yes,
going to
yes.
count them, but if you will change it to line, it will appear something like this. Like when total bill was
Mm-hmm.
0, how much tip we received when it was. So what it is saying is from 0 to 5 or even when we got 7. So we have received tip of $1 for bill between $3 to $7, right? Similarly, one person gave one person gave a tip of $5 on a bill of $7. Okay,
Yeah.
so these are cases, right? That's why for such kind of analysis, when you have to compare these two variables, scatter plot is actually one of the best graphs. Okay, so when you have to compare these two, this will give you an indication
Yeah.
that when total bill is increasing, tip is also increasing. Okay, but it is not as easy. It's not linear, right? As you can already see here in line graph. Yes, it's increasing, but there is
Yes.
variance also,
Uh,
right? For the same
exactly.
bill, we have got $6 tip also, and for the same bill, we have got $2 tip also. Depends upon service, taste of food, what kind of person this is, and so many things, right? Do you get this point? And you can, here you
Yes.
can change the size of these dots as per your liking. Okay, so this is your choice. And let's increase the size, and you can also make it circle, whatever you want. Okay, so what will uh, decrease the size to a reasonable value. There are many other graphs which are related to this graph, which we will learn later, but this is one thing. Okay, now, so we have used two measures to see how total bill is affecting tip. Okay, but we can clearly see total bill is not the only variable or the feature that is affecting the outcome. Do you get my point?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, there are many other features also of this data that are affecting the outcome, which are gender, smoker, day, time. So what we can do is we can drag one of them in color. Okay, let's drag gender into color. What this indicates is orange color represents male hair and blue color represents female hair. Okay, we can clearly see that minimum it's not minimum tip
Yes.
has been given by female and maximum tip has been given by male. Okay, and amount of higher amount bills were also made by me. So this is just an indication that this particular variable is affecting the decision or is affecting the outcome. Okay, we can, what we can do is we can duplicate this, remove gender from here, and we can also drag smoker, yes or no. Okay, you can see the person who gave highest bill was a smoker in this case, right? Otherwise most values are like this. Okay, let's remove smoker. We can also see if we have got more orders between on dinner or lunchtime or on Friday or Saturday or whatever. So you can see the data. Although there are other type of better graphs that can analyze this data, but this is how total bill and tip are being affected by day. Okay, you can see on Saturday we have highest bills are on Saturday. Okay, so it seems that more people are eating on Saturday, like higher bills are there. And similarly on Sunday we have more orders. Now let's analyze on which day we actually had count of orders, right? Not the value of orders, but the count of orders. So what we will do is we'll drag day here. This gives us one dimension. Okay, how will you analyze count of orders? Like what variable will give you count of orders? So if you remember our initial lectures, there is one
Yes, yes.
column
It
that
will
is,
be there. Tips.
yeah,
Tips.
tips.csv count. This variable is automatically generated by Tableau, and this is a calculated field or a generated field. We will drag it here, and this will give us final answer that count of orders are maximum on Saturday. Then second is Sunday. We have this number of orders on Friday, not on Thursday. Although order wise Friday, Saturday, Sunday it should have been that, but somehow in this case it is a bit not in the same order as the order of days. So this is giving us indication most number of orders are on Saturday, and here also you can see, right? Saturday, all Thursday orders, all Friday orders. You can see even if we have some orders on Friday, then also they are between 0 to $30. Only one order is of $40. So although this data
Yes.
set looks very weird type of data, that like who will analyze tip, but in actually it is a very interesting data set, and we use a lot of machine learning algorithms in this data set when we perform data analysis with Python, like because we have to calculate tip. Like suppose you are also going to restaurant and you are a non-smoker going on Sunday for dinner with 3 people, and your bill is $21, then how much tip you should give, right? So machine learning algorithms will actually calculate how much tip you should give, right? So this is why this data set is very famous, and you can use it for exploratory data analysis. So this concludes our session for today, that how to analyze two numerical variables, okay, by turning off the aggregate measures, and then how to use other uh, you know how to use other variables, other dimensions to compare the data, to see the effect of those variables on these two variables. Okay, so all this will be given as a video lecture to you. You can revise. I will give this file to you also, and you can show me the same analysis, okay, or whatever you want to explore. You can explore more also and give me some kind of conclusion, so like, or some interesting insights from the data that I might be missing, right? So we'll see.